All right, this is it. Welcome to the very first episode of From the Ashes. This is a podcast brought to you by the Light Ranch, and I am your host, Heidi Stout. And I want to thank you for joining me today for this heart centered beginning. You could be my only listener, so thank you for being the one if you are here. No, I am so excited to finally get this journey started. It might be a little slow to start, but that's okay. We're just we're starting, and that's what's most important. And you might be wondering, what kind of podcast studio is this? I will admit it is kind of a questionable one at this point, but this is actually the roof of my old barn. And it was in this barn that I told my story, because this podcast was born from my story and through trauma and healing and motherhood and faith and really just the wild beauty of the outdoors. But From the Ashes isn't just about my story. It's definitely not going to be. I want it to be a place for your story and all the stories of people that have risen through some of the darkest moments. And here at the Light Ranch, we believe that healing happens when faith, community, and creation meet. So on this podcast, we're going to talk about all of those things: trauma recovery, human trafficking awareness, mental health, what it means to rebuild your life from the ground up, places that have helped people heal and the impact that that can have. We'll have those honest conversations and explore how God really meets us in our pain and walk together in hope. And so when I decided a few years back to tell my story, because I was at the end of my ropes, and many know my story, and maybe you don't. I don't want this episode to really be about me, but this is where it started. When I sat in this barn and recorded what had happened to me and what it put me through, from my rape in college, and just the bearing and the shame that coincided with that, that led me to this place where I was ready to end all things. And that's no place I ever want anyone to be. But it was in that darkest valley that God met me there and said, "You're going to use your story for purpose. And this is part of that purpose." And so, we will have some longer episodes with some incredible guests that we are lining up. We will have short little clips that we may just reflect on scripture or some soul care or the ways the wilderness, literal and spiritual, can be of your healing. So, whether you're in the middle of your own rising or walking alongside someone else, I just want you to know that you belong here, that your story, what was done to you, said to you, what you're walking through right now, it's not the end of your story. And when you're in the middle of it, you cannot. It's so hard to see the purpose in the pain that you're going through. But when you come out on the other side, when you get out of that valley and you reach that peak, you truly learn that that transformation was happening the whole time you were walking through, as long as you didn't stop walking. And I know that there's moments that we want to stop walking and we want to just give up. And you're not going to get it right every single time. We are so hard on ourselves, but that's a reminder that we need a little bit of grace. If He gives us grace, we need to give a little bit of grace to ourselves, that we're not going to always have it right. And so this podcast, I really just kind of wanted to set the ground stage on this episode, that it's really for anyone who believes in redemption, even when you stopped feeling it. And we hope to provide a little hope if you have stopped feeling it. It's for the woman or the man that is still shaking off the ashes, and for the girl who feels unseen, for the fighter who's tired, and for the one who's just beginning to believe that beauty really might be possible again. Then I want you to know that you're in the right place, that you're not alone, that He's been walking alongside you the entire way. So, this short little episode, as we close today, I just want to leave you with this promise from Isaiah 61:3, to give them beauty for ashes, the oil for mourning, the garment of praise for a spirit of despair, that they may be called oaks of righteousness, a planting of the Lord for the display of His splendor. So, wherever you are in your story, May you remember that God doesn't waste pain. He rebuilds, He restores, and from the ashes, He brings beauty. So until next time, keep rising.